Welcome to the Hormone Hub, your go-to source for the conversations every woman in her 40s and 50s needs to have. I'm your host, Kylie Pinwell, your nutritionist helping you navigate your way through perimenopause, menopause and beyond so you can say goodbye to the endless fatigue, unexplained weight gain, hot flushes, PMS, mood changes and more that come on this hormonal roller coaster. If you missed the memo or think this is only for women of a certain age, ladies, it's time to think again. Now sit back, relax and enjoy the show. Don't forget to hit subscribe so you don't miss any of my latest episodes, which are released every week. Share it with your friends, your sweaty sisters. The more we talk, the more we help each other. Hello, ladies, and welcome to the Hormone Hub. It is great to have you here. And today I'm going to talk about something that is synonymous with menopause, and that is hot flushes. Now, what we're going to cover will actually sort of help you whether you've got any kind of hormonal imbalance. And regardless of what your hormonal symptoms are, this is going to help. But I wanted to sort of specifically kind of jump in and cover hot flushes because I know they're a big bone of contention for a lot of women. Now, the causes of hot flushes aren't completely understood. So, it's definitely low estrogen when, you're in late perimenopause and that estrogen level drops really low. It affects the part of our brain that provides the thermostat for body temperature. So, and there's so many things that it can influence this. So stress, anxiety, eating certain foods, alcohol, all of these things can definitely influence the frequency and the intensity of hot flushes. So we'll have a look at some of those. So, if you haven't had a hot flush, like what is it? And I will put my hand up. I actually have never had a hot flush. So, popular reporting is that they generally start in the chest area and they spread sort of across the chest, up the neck to the face. They can also spread over the whole body. They've been described to me as like a burning, overheating sensation. Some women get red skin, that really flushed, hot red skin, and then varying degrees of sweating. So, having to strip off and change your shirt to, mild perspiration. So, like everything, every woman experiences hot flushes differently. Some of them can be mild and quick. Others can have, one a day. Some women can have up to 20 a day. So, and then some of these women have night sweats, instead of or as well as hot flushes, it's where they literally wake up in a puddle. So, yeah, good times. All right, so let's just have a look at, some of the things we can do. And like I said, this is going to apply for you regardless of whether you're having hot flushes or any kind of hormonal symptoms. This is sort of how we're going to help support your hormones and balance your hormones. Now, if I have a big coughing fit halfway through this, I have just day 10 now of COVID. So I'm on the road to recovery. I feel 1,000 times better than I did this time last week, but still, have it. And I don't know if you remember a couple of weeks ago, I joked about my son going down to schoolies on the Gold Coast. So he graduated year 12, went to the Gold Coast. And, at the time there were all these warnings about, COVID's running rampant, blah, blah, blah. And they're encouraging the kids to wear masks. Now, can you imagine, you've got 20,000 17, 18-year-olds partying away with their 20,000 new best friends wearing masks. My kind of advice was surely they would be better off promoting sunscreen and condoms, but no. Masks was the thing. Now, having had COVID for 10 days, I really wish he had worn the bloody mask. Anyway, we'll persevere through. All right. So I just sort of wanted to give you the experience of one of my clients. So she's, 50-year-old office manager. She was suffering terribly with hot flushes and night sweats, which was why she came to sort of start working with me in the first place. And it got to the point where, she just felt she was losing her confidence. She felt really embarrassed all the time, particularly when she was at work, because she said there was just no warning. So she said it could happen in the middle of a meeting. eating. She said it could happen on the bus on the way to work. And she said for her, the heat started to rise from her legs. And then by the time it hit her head, she said she could feel it coming up her body. By the time it hit her head, she would instantly start sweating. And then, she had it during the night as well. So she would wake up in just a bucket of sweat and have to change the sheets. So she would kick her husband out of bed, change the sheets, change her clothes. And, she was exhausted. So no wonder. She had been offered HRT from the doctor, but she wanted to go down that natural path, which is fine. And you know what? HRT is also fine too. And we'll talk about more of that in a sec. So we started her on a hormone balancing program. We had plenty of, fiber, plenty of phytoestrogens, which, I'll get into what they are in a sec. And we also had some targeted supplements to kind of like boost her hormones a bit as well. So here's what she sort of said, and in her initial email to me, she said, hot flushes were ruining my life. I was having over 10 a day, and they would happen anytime, any place. Had to carry a towel with me, plus a mini fan, and I would just hope there was somewhere to hide whenever it happened. I was so tired as well. The night sweats would interrupt my sleep. When I started to balance out my estrogen, things started to improve. Then we looked at possible triggers for the sweats. Stress was a big one. So she started to develop some deep breathing exercises each day, and that really helped. She also realized that alcohol was a big trigger. So after she did the 10-day detox, the kickstart, that just incidentally, we will be running again early January. So keep your eyes posted for that. And her hot flushes, just by taking alcohol out of her day-to-day life, reduced her hot flushes by half. So, putting all these things in place, she's now sweat-free and feeling confident again. So I thought I would just share her story with you, just so you know that it is possible. And certainly, when we're talking about, HRT and things like that, there are so many options. And yeah, like I said, we'll get into that in a sec. But so what did we do with Polly? So first up, what we want to do is we want you to nourish yourself. So we want you to give when you give your body and you give your hormones all the nutrients they need, they can start to work properly, okay, and they can be in balance. And then when this happens, when your body is getting what it needs, it starts to relax because it knows that everything's working. So first up, go for green. So as much green leafy vegetables, they're not saying that for shits and giggles. It's a real thing. And particularly our cruciferous veggies. So our broccoli, our Brussels sprouts, our watercress, kale, all of those good things. They help our liver detox any kind of like excess hormones. So all those recycled hormones that we don't want, we want to get rid of, that's where all your beautiful leafy green cruciferous veggies can help. Now, next up is ditching the sugar. Okay, so this includes your artificial sweeteners. Okay, your body cannot tell the difference between sugar and, NutraSweet or whatever chemical artificial sweetener you're having, because that sweet signal goes to your brain registers that it's had something sweet, insulin goes sky high, and we need to get that down. So we want to ditch sugar, we want to ditch your artificial sweeteners, any of your packaged processed foods. For all my chocoholics out there, it is okay to have dark chocolate. We want to go for 70% or over. And this is just going to help you balance that blood sugar and help reduce those insulin levels. Because remember that insulin is one of our big fat storers. Okay, so the next up is I want you to start sprinkling your seeds, ladies, everywhere. So seeds are a good source of fiber, they're a good source of protein, vitamins, minerals, phytoestrogens. So phytoestrogens are, it's been a bit of a contentious issue, but they're actually really good for us. So whether we're in perimenopause or menopause, phytoestrogens in our diet are, amazing. So this is things like chia, flax seeds, sesame, pumpkins or pepitas, sunflower seeds, hemp seeds. We can put them in your smoothies. We can, cook natural yogurt. You can put them on your porridge. You can put them in your salads. You can have them as a trail mix, so many options. But yeah, seeds are actually really beneficial and helpful for your hormones. Sesame seeds also a super high form of calcium, better than dairy. I know, I said it. Okay, and then the next thing, we want you to poop. Okay, so get pooping, sort out that digestion. So if you've got bloating, constipation, diarrhea, nausea, heartburn, anything like that, we need to sort that out. We want you to be able to absorb the nutrients from your food, and we want you to eliminate it properly. So, part of what we can do there is, upping your fiber. So that always helps. So make sure you're drinking enough water, preferably filtered water. You're getting enough fiber from fruit, from vegetables, from whole grains, from nuts, from seeds, including, probiotic foods. So these are your fermented foods. So miso, kefir, tempeh, sauerkraut, natural yogurt. So they all feed your good gut bugs, or, they sort of add to your good gut bug colony. Then we want the prebiotic fibers, which is your oats, leeks, sweet potatoes, those things. They're what feeds your good gut bugs. So we need to get that balance between the probiotic and the prebiotics right. Now, what we want to do also, like here, is, you can have the world's most perfect diet, but if you're not absorbing the nutrients from your food, we're missing the mark. Okay, so we want to make sure that, we don't have any food intolerances. And this is why, one of the things that I do with ladies when they first come into the program, we do a food sensitivity test, and this identifies exact foods. So we're not taking out whole food groups unnecessarily. So it makes it easier to stick to. If it's easier to stick to, we get better results. Okay. So yeah, so definitely, but if you're not doing a food sensitivity test, have a think about, how does your body respond to wheat? How does your body respond to dairy? Like if you know that it bloats you, if you know that it constipates you, if you know that it gives you diarrhea, why are we still eating it? So yeah, so just kind of, and awareness is everything. So we just need to kind of start bringing in that awareness in, does this food work for me? And yeah, of course, if you don't want to guess and you want to find out exactly what foods work for you, then by all means, let me know and we can do that food sensitivity test. Okay, so the next step in sort of supporting your hormones, ditching those hot flushes, is to reduce stress. Okay, so this is scheduling in some relaxation every single day. So this could be just 10 minutes of deep breathing will reduce our cortisol levels, get us out of that fight or flight mode. When we have elevated stress over a period of time, this increases our blood sugar, it increases our fat storage, particularly that spare tire around the middle that no one wants. It can drain our energy, it suppresses our immunity, it impairs our digestion, slows our sex function, hormone function, all of the things. So stress has a profound effect on our hormones. Can also cause PMS, can cause digestive issues, fatigue, brain fog, mood swings. It increases our risk of heart disease, diabetes. And if we don't prioritize this, and I think a lot of women sort of are aiming to eat really healthy, and, you can have the absolute best diet in the world. You can have, be taking a million supplements. But, if we don't prioritize the way we manage stress, it's going to, counter those efforts. Okay. And also too, like chronic elevated stress is a one-way ticket to adrenal fatigue. So this is where we start to feel wiped out and exhausted, when this chronic stress goes on too long. So what we want to do is we want to chill out. Okay, we want to relax. We want to breathe deeply, taking regular breaks from technology. I've started on a, phones down time, and I've started that with my whole household because I noticed that my kids were starting to, be permanently had their phone glued to their hand. So I've detached their phone at night time. I'm sure they go and steal it back afterwards, but I feel better. So meditating, be still every single day, do more of the things you enjoy. So what lights you up? What brings you, makes you laugh? What brings a smile to your face? Do more of those. Say no more often. You've heard me say before, no is a complete sentence. We don't have to justify it. We just need to say no. And support your adrenals, by doing all the things that I just mentioned.
This Hormone Hub episode is sponsored by The Well-Balanced Woman. If you've been on a hormonal roller coaster, feeling bloated, your digestion isn't the best, and you're sick and tired of feeling lethargic with your weight creeping up, then this is the right program for you. I'm right there with you across the 12 weeks to hold your hand, and I'll give you a loving kick up the bum if you need it. The Well-Balanced Woman is your personalised 4-phase program created to help you regain your energy, balance your hormones and fire up your metabolism so you get the results you're after. The link with all the details is on our show notes or over at kyliepinwell.com/well-balanced-woman.
All right. Now, the next step is we want to have a little bit of a cleanse. Now, I'm not talking about a detox. I'm talking about, what is around us that is impacting our hormones. So, chemical estrogens. So this is where we look at, so there's lots of chemicals out there that go and attach themselves to our estrogen receptors. So what we want to do is identify them and swap them out. So swapping plastic for glass or stainless steel or ceramics is a big one, particularly water bottles. So all those chemicals in your water bottle, leach into your water, with those plastic water bottles. So switch to more natural brands for toiletries, cosmetic, household cleaners. There's a lot you can get in the supermarket these days. They're not all perfect, but they're going to be better than the highly fragranced products that we've been, using. Just because it's in the supermarket doesn't mean it's okay to use. With your products and your cleaning products, go organic if you can. Limit your exposure to pesticides, especially be aware of, fruit and veggies where we eat the skin. That's where the pesticide sits. So, soaking it in a 1/3 mix of vinegar and 2/3 water, it breaks down those pesticides. When it comes to hot flushes and when it comes to hormonal symptoms, limiting your caffeine and alcohol can significantly help you. Reduction in hot flushes, better blood sugar balance. You're not using caffeine to kind of boost your cortisol levels to get you through the day. And also here too, consider, if we're talking about cleansing, can you, opt for a more natural method of contraception or hormone therapy? So things like the pill, the Mirena, the depot injection, they're all synthetic hormones. So it just kind of masks. It's giving us a Band-Aid over the top. But there's lots of other options. There's, bioidentical HRT. So very effective. They're much lower dose and therefore much less risk. And I think, if your symptoms are impacting the quality of your day-to-day life, it's 100% worth considering and having that conversation with your doctor. Now, this isn't to say that it's a magic pill and you can't do all these other things. So what I'm saying is, if we think of the way we nourish ourselves, if we think of the way we manage our stress, if we think of, what we surround ourselves, from a product point of view in our homes, in our day-to-day life, what we're putting on our skin, all of these things are going to support our hormones and ultimately, improve our symptoms. If we need, to take that to the next level, HRT is a great option. But we don't want to see that as a magic pill because it's not. All right. So I just wanted to put that out there. So things like, when on that cleansing, drinking filtered water over regular tap water, making sure we're sweating. So this is where, your infrared saunas are amazing. Epsom salt baths, dry skin brushing, all helps that detoxification process. And, if we're doing all of these things, losing weight will come, okay? And it will come naturally. because the more body fat that we have, the more estrogen, we have, because our fat cells, produce estrogen. So what we want to do is, reduce that body fat, and then that is going to impact and help us, manage those hormonal symptoms. So, this is easier said than done, I know. And this is why I created the Weight Loss Wisdom program, because I know for some women, just getting the weight off is hard. And I understand that. So that's why I created this program. And if you think of it as my down and dirty weight loss program, we get in, we get the weight off, and then, that comes out of your head. You don't need to worry about that excess weight, and then we work on how do we maintain that new weight? How do we, keep your hormones supported? Keep that metabolism, firing. So yeah, all of those things. So if weight loss is your bugbear, talk to me, because I can definitely help. Now, the next thing to support your hormones is to move your body. So starting with sitting less and moving more. Walking, definitely for the win. So, start off half an hour. We all have half an hour in our day. Okay, go for a walk. High intensity. If you can do high intensity exercise without needing to have a 2-hour nap afterwards, go for it. It's really good for you. But on the flip side, if it's, making you feel tired, if it's exhausting you, it's not doing you any favors right now. It's, increasing your stress response, and it wants to encourage your body to store fat. We want to build some muscle, ladies. So, going to the gym, resistance training, yoga and Pilates are amazing, just to keep that muscle going. But yeah, move your body. Okay. All right. So they're sort of like the 4 things that we can do. So nourish your body, manage your stress, clean up the chemicals around you, and move your body. Now, we all know this. None of this is rocket science. So I just want to kind of like wrap it up by sort of saying, all right, so why don't we do this? Okay, now the biggest thing I hear from a lot of women, and the biggest reason for not taking action, is I don't have enough time. I don't have enough time to meal prep. I don't have enough time to cook, from scratch. I don't have enough time to exercise. I don't have time to relax. I can only relax after the kids have gone to bed. Okay, I get it. I'm busy too. All right, but what if we reframed it into, and just rethink the way that we think about it? Okay, so it's not a priority for me right now. All right. So instead of saying, I don't have time to meal prep, why don't we say, I'd love to, change the way I eat, but it's not a priority for me right now. I'd love to relax, but it's not a priority for me right now. I'd love to put myself first, but it's not a priority for me right now. Okay. I'd love to exercise, but it's not a priority for me right now. So, we all have the same amount of time, and your priorities and whether or not you want to own it or not, is how you choose to spend those hours. Okay. So it's amazing how much time you can find when you prioritize the things that are important, So I really encourage you to make a commitment to yourself, set a target date, have something to aim for. And that's when you finally make that first step. So if you take a long time either thinking about doing something or, trying to go it alone without support and accountability, life generally gets in the way. And before you know it, you're back doing the same old thing again. Okay. And I know this, and I'm saying it because I see it time and time again. So, and the flip side of that is with the ladies I work with, once they start getting those small runs on the board, once they start getting those achievements, it builds the momentum. Then they get their energy back. They start shifting weight. They're feeling calmer. They're feeling more balanced. And they all say the same thing. I should have done this years ago. Okay, so I'm going to leave that with you. All right. And that's, just a reframe, and hopefully that is helpful for you. If you need some help, you know where to find me. All right, ladies. Well, thank you for listening, and I will see you in the next episode.
Thank you for taking the time to listen today. You can head on over to the show notes at kyliepinwell.com/podcast, where you'll find all the links, and I have a little bonus surprise waiting for you. Before we go, it would mean the world to me if you head on over to your favourite podcasts channel, subscribe and leave a review. Make sure to screenshot it, DM it to me so I can thank you personally. Then stay tuned for next week's episode. Can't wait to see you then.